Alright guys, so hopefully it is daylight enough for this video. Gene and I launched about 4 o'clock this morning. We came out here and paddled around and had a lot of fish blowing up. I had a couple blow up at the double plopper right at the bow of the boat. Didn't have a trailer hook on. I have since remedied that situation. We're working our way up a creek. And I don't know what the water temperature is yet because one of my batteries crapped the bed last night, and I had the light set up in case we caught a big fish at night, we could film it. And so I'm going to switch the battery over in a second and figure out what the water temperature is. But Gene stuck his foot in the water a minute ago and said, dude, stick your foot in the water. So the water temperature in here is probably somewhere in the 70s, where everywhere else on the lake it's in the high 80s to mid 90s. And the reason being, we're in a spring-fed creek. I can tell you guys the vicinity of where we're at. We're launched at the KOA campground, and we're working our way back into one of these kind of unnamed creeks to find some of these spring-fed little offshoots and find some cooler water. It's FLW Forest Wood Cup Championship weekend, and so we're back in here fishing, hopefully trying to get into places that none of the bass boats can get. But if we run into those guys, it's going to be a couple of hours because they can't launch until 7. So that's one of the great things about fishing from a kayak, is you can get into places either other people can't or before they really can. So we're going to head back that way, see if we can't find a big bass to finish off our Alabama Wheeler Lake Kayak Bass Fishing TRAIL / FLW Expo trip. And hopefully I can show you guys a big green ditch pickle here in just a second.
Yeah, the water's a little cooler back there.
Yeah.
Clear too.
I turned my GPS on, guys, about 2 minutes ago. When I turned it on, its memory from yesterday was 86.9 degrees, and it has gone from 86.9 to 79.7, and it is continuously dropping. It's stabilized a little bit at that 79.7, but you got to think, even at 79.7, that is almost 15 degrees cooler than most of the reported temperatures for anglers that are fishing these events. And even with the surrounding area, it's a good 10 degrees cooler. Water that's 10 degrees cooler is a significantly different creature, especially in the summertime. We mention it, I know Gene mentions it on his channel a lot, I mention it a lot, but you can't stress it enough. Everybody understands the thermocline, everybody understands kind of deep oxygen, but what's often overlooked is shallow oxygen. Guys just assume bass just move shallow. It's a presumption that every bass angler makes, and it's true. You know, that's why you can catch bass. They have a very wide tolerance range. But when they have an ability to be somewhere where they can be more comfortable, especially in areas where you have these springs, which create a natural draw for them, that cooler water is way more oxygenated than the warmer water, which is going to draw the bait fish in, which is going to put the bass more in its temperate zone. And so don't overlook water temperature. So for all of you guys that have commented on my videos in the past, and for those of you that might comment on my videos now, I see this a lot. Why you need a depth finder when the water is only 4 foot deep? If for nothing else than knowing what your water temperature is. Granted, you could take a thermometer with you, but that water temperature and the GPS feature for being able to find stuff really is a reason to have a something electronic. You know, I can promise you Gene is over there 15 feet from me, almost feeling like he's fishing blind right now to a certain extent, because you know there's certain cues that you're looking for as an angler. And for me, like just being able to glance down and see those water temperatures to know that I'm moving towards cooler water, or finding out after I catch a fish, okay, why did I catch that fish? Oh wow, the water's a little cooler here.
Well, I find myself using a map and the GPS 10 times more than I use my fish finder.
Yeah, absolutely.
No matter where I'm at.
Yeah,
offshore, inshore.
It's orientation, it's positional awareness, it's, you know, why did I catch this fish? That's one thing a lot of folks don't do after they catch a fish, is ask themselves why they caught it. They just enjoy the day. But man, I'm gonna tell you, we just rounded this corner and there is a fog hanging over the water, which means there's a major temperature imbalance between the water and the air surrounding it. And so with 78.2 degrees right here, I'm gonna guarantee you, just from paying attention in science class, that that's a lot cooler water back there. I'm starting to see a lot more activity. The adrenaline's starting to pump, and good gosh, man. I hope this translates in video to what you can see right here is this grass flat, but then some cool, just, it even looks like cool fog just hanging over the top of the water. Gene and I are gonna keep pushing back. We're gonna find some fish, and I'm gonna stop recording for a minute and then find the fish, and then we'll be right back. But guys, this is what we do this for right here. This is bass heaven, and this is public water, Wheeler Lake, right under your nose. And it's one of those places you almost can't get to from a bass boat. And I think when we go another 100 yards, we'll be in water that no bass boat can get into. So it's like our own private fishery. All right, so Gene, I know that you have a lot of followers, you know, kind of from the bass boat world and from the kayak world. And the majority of my subscribers and followers are kayak fishermen. And so I've shared this tip quite a bit. So I want to share this with both with you, you know, getting a lot more into this paddling thing and with your subscribers. When you get into this nasty stuff, if you paddle with your paddle in a traditional sense, you are basically, it's like taking a spoon and sticking it into a bowl of cereal. Okay, so sorry. So it's like taking your spoon and putting it into a bowl of cereal. You're going to pick up trash. So when you take your paddle blade and you bring it in the normal way, you're going to pick stuff up. So little quick, simple tip for paddling through the slop in a kayak is simply just roll your paddle upside down. What that's going to do is it's going to get the deeper edge up and put the flat edge down, but more importantly, the curvature of the paddle is away from the grass. So if you stick your paddle blade in the water and you just kind of ease along, you don't pick up any trash. Your paddle stroke is quieter, so you don't spook the fish. When you have the paddle like this, there's cavitation behind the blade, so it makes that whoosh in the water. But if you put the paddle upside down and you just go along, you're really just skimming the surface. I call it tiptoeing. So you're tiptoeing through the flats, you're tiptoeing through the grass, you're more pushing off the grass, you don't pick it up. But if you ever do, because you paddle deep, simply do a backspin of the paddle, all the stuff comes off, it's clean. You're gonna avoid frustration, you're not gonna end up with all that salad in your boat, your elbow to your forearm wet, and you're frustrated. You're gonna be quieter and you're gonna catch more fish. So simple tip, when you're paddling in grass, flip your paddle upside down, flat edge down, the curvature forward, and you're going to tiptoe through the grass and catch a lot more fish.
Cool. Thank you, Jen.
And I'll tell you this, because I've seen it happen. When you put your paddle across your lap, then that drip, 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 that sounds like a bomb going off to a fish 30 feet away. And I've actually been reeling a lure, fish swell up on it, they hear that and they turn off. So when you set your paddle on your lap, just do a little quick spin. Gets all the water off your blade and you don't have that little drip, 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 you know what I'm saying? So I know that seems like anal, but I've been underwater snorkeling before when I'm doing these underwater segments where I'm swimming a fishery, and had somebody put their paddle on their lap, and I'm like, what the hell is that noise? And I swam under somebody's kayak one time, and they had picked their paddle up, and I could hear it doop, 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 doop. It literally sounds like somebody's taking a spoon and tapping on a table. Put your paddle on there, just do a little quick boom, boom, little quick boom, boom. Gets all the water off. All right, so here's the deal. I don't know if you're gonna like this type of video or not, but I get a lot of questions about showing the process for breaking down water, the process for exploring, the process for things out, the process for deciding what lure to throw. So what I'm gonna do in this series is I'm gonna show you some trips from the summer, I'm gonna show you some trips from the early fall, and I'm gonna show you the process, the things that we take into account, the variables that are, you know, the major consideration for trying to find fish and what's positioning fish and holding fish in a particular area. So I linked up some articles in the description box that I think would be good reading for you to get a background on what I'm talking about. A couple things that come up in the video that I normally would edit out because I've already covered it. You know, I'm putting cards in the video so that if you're new to my channel, you can go back and read some of those things and make your fishing experience, especially fishing from a kayak, a lot less frustrating. So do me a favor, comment below if you like this type of video, if you want to see more videos like this. I really enjoy the teaching aspect of it, and getting into some of the variables helps me catch more fish. And I know it's frustrating to watch a video and not see a fish get caught, but listen, if you want to become a better angler, if you want to catch more fish, this is part of it. So I'm going to show you some of the work products, some of the stuff that, you know, people think I just go out and fish all the time and catch a fish every cast, and you know, they think that Fluke Master, who joined me in this video, goes out and catches a fish every cast. And the truth is, we struggle just like everybody else, but it's the struggle and the breakthroughs and the things that you learn that make you a better angler. If you like this type of video, do me a favor, give it a big thumbs up, leave a comment below to tell me what you like and what you didn't like, and if I can do, you know, a better job of bringing you you know, better, more informative and entertaining content. As always, smash that subscribe button if you haven't yet, and I'll see you next time on Kayak Bass TV.